I have 5 p.m. We'll go ahead and start the meeting. If you will, please join me in the invocation and the pledge. Gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. Just appreciate the opportunity to be here to serve the citizens of our county. Ask you to just be present with us tonight. Just give us knowledge and wisdom to make the decisions that's best for the future of those we serve. Ask you to watch over those who serve us, those who protect us, our first responders and our military abroad. Just keep us safe and allow us to keep our home fires burning and keep a community that's worth living in. In all things I ask, in Jesus' name, amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All righty. Thank you all for coming out tonight. Got a little bit different agenda here. We're going to go straight into the swearing in for the chair and vice chair. Greg, are you performing that for us? So. We have to take another picture, Jessica?
Yes. Yeah, and I'm taking my shoes higher.
Before I actually swear in our new chairperson, chairwoman, we did a little research in the history of women on the board, and so I just want to share this. We found that you are the 5th woman to serve on as a commissioner, and you will be the only 2nd chair of the board as a female. And so just wanted to share that with everyone. Sharon Thompson, back in the 1990s, was the other one. You were preceded by Wilhelmina Cronin, Angie Chappell, Sharon Thompson, Lynn Arts, and yourself. So congratulations.
Good.
Are you going to come down here, or how are we going to do this?
Sure.
Yep, come down here. Raise your hand. Did you on the board? To be in front of a Mary Lawhorn, Commissioner? No.
She's county administrator.
All right. I'm going to say the oath, and you can say I do at the end. All right?
No, make her repeat it, Greg.
They don't want to do that. I, Commissioner Messersmith, do solemnly swear that I will well and faithfully execute the duties of office of Chair of the Wakulla County Board of County Commissioners to the best of my abilities, so help me God.
I do.
Congratulations. Now this says you're going to give brief remarks.
I will do those after.
That was the way she said I do. That was her brief remark.
All right, Commissioner Hess, Vice Chair. I, Commissioner Hess, do solemnly swear that I will well and faithfully execute the duties of the office of Vice Chair of the Wakulla County Board of County Commissioners to the best of my abilities, so help me God.
I do.
Congratulations. Congratulations. And that's supposed to change our remarks as well.
Do you have any brief remarks?
No. Yeah, I do. I didn't get a new placard when I was chair.
Were you chair, Randy?
Yes.
You sure?
Yeah, he was.
They were very brief meetings, weren't they? Yes, they were.
This is where I started in this seat.
Yeah. I think I've sat in every seat at this table, probably at least once. I like this one the best. Yeah. What?
Scrooge. There you go. You want to use that?
So official.
The first one's easy.
Got it.
This is the last one.
Here. Do that one.
Whack it with something.
We ready? We're done? Another, are we gonna stand up for this picture, Justin?
Oh, we're gonna sit down.
Right down.
So you gotta hold the glass over its head.
Bottle off. Yeah.
That was what you were for last year.
Yeah.
Supposed to hold the gavel
Water bottle.
Water bottle.
Randy, fix your collar.
1, 2, 3.
Good deal. Jess.
Good job, guys.
Gals.
Yay! Okay, so we can check off going down our agenda tonight. I see, Randy, I'm not going to make this a long meeting. I don't need anything. I'm sure he'll tell me if I do something wrong. And we've already done the first 3 things. Do I have an approval of the agenda?
So moved.
Staff needs to pull item 31 from the agenda this evening, please.
I'll amend my motion.
Additionally, the Keep Wakulla County Beautiful presentation will not occur tonight, and then we are also requesting that you move tab 21 to general business from consent, since it was just handed out and you guys would have not had an opportunity to review it.
And we have an add-on item.
2, I think. I have one,
Let him put it on.
and we have one for the Triumph as well? Or no?
No, they got moved.
That is tab 21.
Content, yeah.
It was just Triumph's add-on item, move off consent, and pull the other one, right?
Yes.
And I'll modify my motion.
And I second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes. We will have 3 citizens to be heard opportunities. Jess, are there any to be heard right now? No. Okay. And we're moving on to awards and presentations. Clerk?
Thank you, Commissioners. I just want to share, we're closing out our fiscal year. We're still working on the board's closeout. Auditors will be here in January.
I can't wait.
I know, another exhilarating report.
Yes.
We have closed out the books for the clerk's office, and I just want to share with you, don't have one of those big checks to hand to you or anything, but we are funded by a number of sources. First, our courts are funded by the state's court system, and we are returning to the state $162,000 this year. The bulk of that is excess revenues. We did a very good job of collections this year. We're not allowed to spend any excess revenues. We were under budget on our expenses by $33,000. The excess revenues were $129,000. So we'll be sending $162,000 and some change to the state in excess revenues. We'll be returning to the county, ironically, a very similar number, $163,000 this year. And that is about half and half, $84,000. Our official records were really high this year because of the COs, the growth that we've seen in the county, and all of those recordings. And so we had a bumper crop year in recording excess revenue of $84,000, and then we're under budget in our expenses by about $79,000, and most of that had to do with the transition. And we were without a finance director for about three months or so. And so the bulk of that will not be there next year, or the expenses will be there next year, but
Is your internal reserve fund fully funded now? That's why that money's not...
it'll be real close if it's not.
Is this going back to general fund, or is it going to your reserve?
I didn't look at the numbers as to whether or not it'll get split or not, but it'll either be going back to the clerk's reserve or we'll put it in the, I don't know if we'll put it in the general fund reserve or the revenue stabilization fund, but this will definitely probably get us over that hump. So just want to report those returns to the board and state. Thank you.
Good job. Good job.
Thank you.
Good job on the time limit, too.
Motion to approve consent agenda.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Then we're going to move on to general business.
Would you like to see 21 in the front, or do 21 first?
Yep.
Okay, this agenda item requests board approval of a Triumph Gulf Coast grant application seeking funding for a countywide emergency communications system. As you can see, we're applying for that funding of roughly $17 million funding up to that point, and we'd like to get approval of that. And the way it will work is if you approve this tonight, we'll be submitting this to the Triumph Board. It'll be heard before the January board meeting of Golf Triumph or Triumph Golf, and then if they approve it to move forward to a term sheet at that point in time, it will go forward in the term sheet negotiations, and somewhere about 6 weeks after that, we'll have a meeting. You'll bring it here as well as for approval, the term sheet, and then have the Triumph Board approve the term sheet, and then we're ready to go.
Motion to approve. Second.
Any discussion?
This is not selecting, this is just financing.
Just getting the money, that's right.
Any other comments? All in favor? Aye. Showing none, it passes 5-0. We are now going to move to general business.
Doesn't matter to me. Item tab 26 under general business is requested board approval to waive the procurement ordinance and approve the temporary lease agreement for the Wildwood golf course and the golf course equipment. As you all know, the county is in the process of acquiring the Wildwood golf course. We're actually hoping to close on that transaction before the end of the month, hopefully on the 21st. In order to have the golf course remain operable during planning, designing, and procurement for the needed upgrades and improvements, and in order to give the county time to stage and ramp up to assumption of operations, it is in the best interest of the county to temporarily lease the property back to the current owner, Wildwood Country Club LLC. They will maintain operations on behalf of the county. The county will have a short-term lease. Given that short-term nature of the lease, it is determined that the current tenant, or the current owner, the future tenant, is uniquely suited to continue operations during this temporary time period in the best interest.
Second. Now, David, I had somebody ask me today, any idea how long this lease will last? Is it depending on when we get funding or when we can, what?
Well, everything's contingent upon funding, but right now is anticipated about 6 months.
Okay, because this is just so he can keep the golf course can stay open that 6 months, then it's going to be a dead stop, shut down for a number of months till all the infrastructure.
That's exactly right. There's not any sense in us ramping up, shutting down, and ramping back up.
And there's no need just to close it right now.
No need to close it right now, so that it just make better sense.
It'll be status quo.
Citizens just leave it just the way it is, and we're ready to reconstruct it. That's when we'll shut it down, and then we'll ramp everything back up.
After the reconstruction.
That's right.
Yep.
Any more? Okay, have a motion?
Motion to
And a
approve.
second?
I already made the motion. Yep.
I got that. All in favor? Aye.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The next item is a request board approval of a greens fee agreement with Wildwood Country Club LLC. Section 1 of the purchase and sale agreement for the acquisition of the golf course property requires the parties to enter into a greens fee agreement to provide discounted greens fees to RV park guests for the adjacent RV park. This will be for a 5-year term and is required as a condition of the closing. In substance, in addition to the 5-year term, this will allow a 50% discount on greens fees on weekdays for RV park guests and a 25% discount on weekends.
Motion to approve. Second.
Any discussion?
This is for after we take over operations, so. Oh, that's a good question. What about in the interim when he's leasing it? It's the same as it is. Same as it is? So the RV park's free in that time? Okay. That's fine, I'm just asking.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Now we're going to move into public hearings.
Yes, this item requests board approval to conduct the public hearing and adopt an ordinance amending sections of Chapter 31 of the Code relating to utilities and approval of a resolution adopting rates, fees, and charges for sewer service.
Motion to approve. We've talked this ad nauseum, I think, talking about this. Second.
I I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Well, I would like to let the public know what the new rates are going to be.
Well, there's like 50 other things in
There is a lot of different rates, but this public hearing was noticed in Wakulla News on November 25th and December 2nd. All sewer customers were notified on their bill. The new rates will be posted, they will be advertised in Wakulla News no later than December 31st. The new rates will be posted in the Public Works office as well as the building department, and they will be posted on our website as well. We can talk about the residential rates, which I think is what you're asking.
That's what everybody's concerned about, is residential.
And these rates are effective on April 1st of 2022. The new residential base facility charge is $38.09, and the new usage charge per 1,000 gallons over 2,000 is $5.72. And so your base bill is going to be about $45, and that's up from about $38.
And we also revised the access charges.
Revised the access fees from $38.50 to $4,050, and so there is a lot of rates change, but that's your residential that most people are
All based
concerned
on the...
$7 a year.
based on the Raftell study, $7 a month,
This is all
$84 a
based on
year.
that rate study we paid to have done to make sure the sewer system is sustainable.
That is correct.
And I know the argument about the other stuff.
Yeah, I can bring up the fact that, we're still not, the access fee is not paying for the new system. We get that by the other financing, so I'm not a real fan of that. So,
You finished?
I'm finished.
Okay. All in favor? Aye. Any objections?
Aye.
4-1.
Tab 29 on the agenda tonight is a request for the board's approval to conduct the first of two public hearings to consider an ordinance amending Section 5-25 of the Land Development Code pertaining to the agricultural zoning district regulations.
So moved. This will allow solar facilities as a allowable use on ag property.
That is correct.
Any discussion?
It'll no longer be a conditional use, it'll be an allowable use. It doesn't need special approval.
That's correct. This item will come back to the board for final approval in January. Everybody ready to vote? Randy, you got anything else to say?
Been ready.
Okay, good. All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Passes 5-0.
The next item under public hearings is a request for the board's approval to conduct a public hearing and adopt an ordinance amending the commission district boundaries based on the new 2020 census data.
So moved. We had a whole workshop on this too.
We did last month, yes, sir.
Very exciting workshop.
Any discussion?
One question, do we have the GIS updated where someone can plug in their address and figure out which district they're in?
Brandon snuck out of here. I'll confirm that with him in the morning.
Okay.
Who was the second?
I was.
That'd be a good question for our new elections officer, right? Joe?
I'm sure he had that set up, yeah.
Okay. If he does,
Got everything else.
send us a link, because when people call, we can send them that link.
Okay. I'm sure he does, so.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Passes 5-0. Planning and zoning.
Thank you. Tab 31 has been removed from the agenda. Tab 32 is an application for a change of zoning, R21-24. This is for a change of zoning from, get back down to my notes, from RR5 to restricted. Back in 1992, they had approved RR5 but put conditions on it, to just plain RR5. This will be on multiple parcels of land containing about 156 acres of land.
Motion to approve.
In accordance with Section 24.01 of the County Code, each commission member needs to disclose any ex parte communications you may have received.
None.
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 If there's anyone here who's going to provide any information, please stand up to be sworn. Please raise your hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I do. Thank you.
Motion to approve.
Did I get a second?
In a second.
Any discussion?
Is there any?
Call Mr. Paget up.
Let's see what he had to say first.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
From the last meeting I was here, it seems like the members have changed, so you messed up my presentation a little bit, but I'll kind of keep it similar. Since everybody's already in a, I wouldn't say a democratic, but we're already in a, what's the word I want to use? A kingdom or something with other people making decisions already, even hadn't hurt anybody. So I guess you're aware of this map, right? Okay. Well, based on the current rules, which when this document was sent out, they say they violated Florida statute, but as my previous statement to the other board members, that was not put on the documentation. And then when you call and talk to somebody about the property, it was like they tell you one set of things. They said this, this, and this. However, when I show up to the board meeting, that's not what they told the board members. They told them something different. So which lie am I going to get? Which document is true? So 2 people showed up to the last board meeting to talk about this property. So 2 of the people that showed up, and the other one's my uncle, so we own 4 of the 6 properties that actually is going to be affected. So we didn't want it changed from R5 restricted to R5. So there's only 2 other people, and one of the people were actually sitting and didn't speak up that affected the other property. So what we had asked is for it to stay like it is. However, the other board members just acted like, it's another kingdom. They didn't care what the people had to say and just before we even got up and said something. So that's kind of disheartening that if you're working for the citizens and you should hear the citizens, not just the first word out of your mouth is I think it's kind of disrespectful, honestly. So in the different answer that we got to us, I called and said, well, can people break this property up into 5 acres that are 10 acres? And yeah, as long as the road is paved. Okay, well, I get to the board meeting, and then they said, well, yeah, as long as the road is paved, meeting DOT standards, and then they got to maintain it for 2 years. So what's the real answer? My point is what I'm trying to get at is if you're going to put something out, at least put out the information that, like I said in the last board meeting, if you would have attached the Florida statute, I could have went and read it and found out why R5 was restricted based on the Florida statutes. But that wasn't put out. And then one of the gentlemen, he made a comment about that should have been put out there. Mr. Chad Hansen, I say his name. Hanson.
Hansen, thank you. He made a comment as why couldn't we do that? And that's when the lawyer and everybody else was here. So, what's the real rule? Why can't we find the Florida statute that it violates? Why was it violated to begin with if it was really violated? And if most of the people that are showing up says we'd like to keep it this way, nobody from the county is up here presenting saying this way, and nobody else up here is saying that nobody else is up here saying that they want it to go R5, unrestricted. So just, please think about that. Are we still in a democracy, or are we living in North Korea? And I might offend somebody, and I'm sorry, but I thought that's what the board is working for the citizens, not just making their own agendas.
Thank you.
So, Summer, this is, as I understood it, we're doing this because since after this was done, Florida's law changed and requires that this is not allowed.
I'm not sure when the law changed. It's not a Florida statute, it's Florida case law. And the Florida courts, and in fact courts throughout the United States have said when you have a zoning district, you have to be uniformly applied. You cannot have a zoning district and then modify certain restrictions in just part of a zoning district.
We've been through this several times.
Yeah, we have.
Say when some site plan's coming up, for example, somebody's wanting it C2, and I've heard them say, well, I'll approve it only if it's going to be this, or I'll only approve it if it's not going to be this. And you just can't do that. It's either C2 or it's not. It's either R5 or it's not. There is no zoning district called R5 restricted. No, there's nowhere in our ordinances there R5 restricted. There's not a C2 restricted. There's not a C1 restricted. And why did the past board do it? They were wrong. They were wrong. They shouldn't have done it. That's what it boils down to. They did the same thing in Magnolia Gardens, right? Saying you could only have homes only, even though the zoning district allowed mobile homes, right? Are they either, maybe it's reverse. They had a zoning district that allowed homes only, but said you could.
There were a few different...
Anyway, we rectified that one too by changing the whole thing to homes only, even though it did allow mobile homes before. So this has been done before by past boards. We're just correcting the past error. I don't know why the timing is what it is, but that's irrelevant.
So we need to make sure that when people call about it,
This should have never happened, is what it boiled down.
No. Do you have a motion and a second?
You do. Motion stands to approve it.
Okay. Who seconded? You did. All in favor? Aye. Number 33?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is an application for final plat, FP 2111. This is for Crystal Acres. This property is for a two-lot multi-use subdivision located at 28 Allen Street, south of Sop Choppy Highway, and on the west side of Stacy Lane. It contains about just under 50 acres.
Motion to approve.
If you have any ex parte communications, please disclose them for the record.
None.
None.
This is short form?
No, it is not, because it's less than 10 acres. One of the lots is less than 10 acres in
It's a
size.
5-acre.
The planning commission did approve the preliminary plat for this
There's no
division last
infrastructure to
month.
be built.
There's
That's
no
fine, going straight.
infrastructure going in, that's correct.
That's motion to approve.
If there's anyone here who's going to provide any information, please stand up to be sworn.
I think it's just me.
Nobody, just you. Okay.
Have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Perfect. Passes 5-0.
That, 1 second, Madam Clerk. Who did the second come from?
I did.
You, okay, thank you. I missed that.
Now we're going to move on into the fun part of the evening, Commissioner agenda items. Yes. I'm sure that everybody got a copy of the wonderful 2022 organizations represented by commissioners, and I personally think that the canvassing board is the one that is missing. So,
Madam Chair, I wanted to officially resign from the CRTPA and ARPC. I'd like my backup person to take it over.
your backup person?
Guess who that is?
Is that what you're calling me now?
Yeah.
Okay.
What is it called?
It's called an alternate.
Alternate.
So am I going to trade you two things? So you're done. You're, okay.
Done it for 11 years.
Alrighty, so let's scratch that off the list.
Count me off on the canvassing board too.
Who will be the alternate for those two?
I'm trying to get there if Randy will cooperate a little bit with my list. So we're done on that.
No, we gotta pick the alternate.
Yep,
Just to point out that
I'm going to do that right now. Won't you kindly ask?
the ARPCA.
You will? Awesome, thank you. You got that, Jess?
Got it.
Okay.
And I'm already doing the traffic safety team.
Right, well, this is CRTPA.
So you want to be the alternate on CRPTA? That means if I'm not going to be there, you get to be there.
Absolutely.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. You good with all of yours?
Good.
You going to stay seated?
Yeah.
You good with all of yours?
I'd like to have tourist development, but that's,
That's between you and you want
I'll tell you what you can do. You can have canvassing.
I had no interest in canvassing. Been there, done that.
just do the CRTPA?
Yeah.
You did? No, Mike's the alternate on CRTPA.
No, he's ARPC.
Okay. He's the only one that said anything.
Thank you very much for doing that. So now we're going to get down to the canvassing board. I need, did you say you're not doing it? Randy's not doing it? So now we're down to,
I won't, if some issue comes up after November 6th, I won't be a commissioner anymore. So I can't do it. No, hey, don't look on.
that's taking the easy way out, Randy.
Randy can still do it, but
I've done it
I think everybody needs this opportunity to do it. already had mine.
I've had twice.
Here's the problem is, I think, I know Commissioner Thomas, are you also involved in the local Republican committee? So you two are out.
Right, so that,
Lindsay will be on the ballot.
That leaves Chuck.
Make the tab, but I'm involved in the local Democratic committee, so let you know.
Are you on the executive committee there too?
Well, if you're an elected official and you're automatically on the executive committee.
Are you plan on being active in the,
Doing it. We can appoint an alternate, doesn't have to be a board member, does it? Let's get Summer to do it, for example.
Oh, has to be a board member. Has to be a board member. So, and then it is now, the chair is usually the judge, the supervisor of elections. The chair of the Board of County Commissioners is supposed to be the member on the board unless they are up for election. So somebody's got to make a decision.
Quincy is the main. If she's up for election, but if she doesn't have an opponent, she can do it, right? Is that correct?
I don't,
Well, we'll have an alternate, which would be Mike Kemp.
She still has to qualify for election. She'll still be,
It would be you as the alternate.
Look, come on, guys, give me a break. I've done this twice.
No, it depends on, I mean, are they going to, so Heather, what happen with these two?
On the camp.
Oh, even better. So Randy's gonna go to the canvassing board. I know you can't right now. There you go, put him on. So what does happen, Heather, with regard to the political involvement? On a very serious note.
I'd have to pull the statute, but I believe that if you guys can't find somebody that the judge eventually appoints an alternate, I think.
Plan.
Well, is anybody gonna move off of anything?
Well, according to,
I think I'm too deep, but you gotta stay neutral, and I'm past the point of neutral.
Past the point of neutrality. Are you past that point also?
you don't think you can be fair and impartial?
Absolutely.
It's not that.
Let's get involved in a
Involved in
campaign.
the Republican Party.
So are you,
Look, you're not that involved in the Democratic Party, are you? You've done it before. I know what you want then.
yeah, but if he's not actively involved in a, like,
It's an executive committee, or he is not.
So let me ask, are you saying I would have to resign from my board, for the meeting?
Saying you have to, that, and you have to remain.
How are they both on the board, because they can't be in the same meeting?
We just can't talk about county business. We can talk about candidates and...
Mike, you'd be willing to resign from the executive committee, wouldn't you, for this honor, doing the canvas board? I mean, it's really a good experience. You don't want to do it 2 or 3 times, but
It is a good experience.
it is a good experience.
we're supposed to have an alternate too.
Well, here's where I stand on, is that none of us signed up to be on either executive boards, but if we can't do it based on neutrality, I don't know what the answer to this is going to be.
Well, let's kick it to the judge.
Well, then it's going to get kicked back to us. But if that's,
Well, I mean, I know that, for example,
I don't understand why you're so busy.
Cheryl appointed someone. I'm very busy.
Okay.
Very busy.
Okay.
I'm at a campaign, you know, I wave every year. So I'll be there waving.
You what? 1 year we had the clerk. Correct, done it before as the alternate, correct? Brent's done it before as the alternate.
Oh, I had somebody do it.
Cheryl's done it before as the alternate. You are the judge's alternate? Okay.
And Cheryl, she was there one time. Whose alternate was she for?
The counties, I think.
All right, here we go. The chair of the Board of County Commissioners is unable to serve or is disqualified. The Board of County Commissioners shall appoint as a substitute member one of its members
Right.
who is not a candidate with opposition in the election being canvassed and who is not an active participant in the campaign or candidacy of any candidate with opposition in the election being canvassed. So if you're not,
Go on to the part about if they can't find somebody, the judge appoints.
no, I'm trying to figure out if we have eligible members here based upon that language. If a substitute or alternate member cannot be appointed as provided elsewhere in this subsection, or in the event of a vacancy of such office, the chief judge of the judicial circuit in which the county is located shall appoint as a substitute member or an alternate member a qualified elector of the county who is not a candidate in opposition and who is not an active.
So Randy has decided to be the canvassing person. There we go. Yay. Yay, yay, yay. Okay, so with regard to the alternate part of it, Heather, after reading all of that, can it be someone obviously that's not on the commission as alternate? And can we do that at a later time?
I don't think we would do it. It sounds to me like the judge would do it.
Okay, so we're fine with Randy being the servicing board member.
Unless we have a board member who's willing to be the alternate.
But same criteria, though.
Same criteria, but if you're not going to be an active participant in anybody's campaign who's going to be on that ballot, you're okay.
If you're gonna be okay to do that, you'll be okay.
Commissioner Hess, can you be an alternate, or?
If he can do that, he can be the head member then.
Okay, let's just leave this alone, and, no, that's not gonna work out for us. Okay, so, Heather, do we need a motion and a second and a vote on this, or
Chairman assigns it.
it's a chairman assignment?
And I think the notes that I've taken are to remove Randy from the Appalachia Regional Planning Council and the CRTPA. The chairman, Quincy, will be the primary, Chuck will be the alternate on ARPC, and
TPA.
No, ARPC.
Kemp will be the alternate on CRTPA, and Commissioner Merritt will be on the canvassing.
Who's the representative of CRTPA?
Me,
And who's RPC?
Quincy, so you're doing canvassing. It's called trade-off.
Alternate on the canvassing.
We haven't done that yet.
There's no alternate.
They can't, Commissioner Hess not a defendant, they was an alternate.
Well,
We decided that he fell into the same category. Okay?
Don't we typically have the board approve the recommended
But
appointment?
Chuck, you've done it
Yes.
before, right? Were you on the same committee then?
Yeah, but I wasn't active then.
Oh, come on.
He's planning on being active tomorrow.
The judge can choose an alternate at this point. Can I have a motion to approve?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye. All righty, that was painful, Randy. County Attorney,
Wanted to take it easy, my last.
Want to do my walk-on?
I thought we were doing that under discussion of issues by commissioners, or do you want to do it now? It doesn't matter to me. Let's do it now while we're still...
Okay. So, sorry for the late notice on this, just found out about it over the weekend. The Florida House is required to redistrict in accordance with the new census information. There are two proposed maps that they have to choose from that will affect House District 7, our district with Representative Schoaf, and they're two quite different. The first one that ends 8005 will pull about 50% of our entire district out of Tallahassee. And so, nothing against our neighbors to the north, but, their needs around FSU, around the capital, are much greater than a small rural county. And so I think it drastically changes our voice in Tallahassee if that map gets approved. House District 8007 meets all the requirements. It expands the district out a little bit, but it keeps it all in small rural counties. It still encompasses part of Leon County, but it's basically Tram Road and south.
005 substitutes rural counties for South Tallahassee, basically.
Yeah, and it does a weird loop. The map is in here, and it loops. It takes part of FSU campus. It takes part of, like the Kalon area up in there. It does that's the suburbs of Tallahassee and puts it with us.
It's like a little bit of gerrymandering. Is the other one, 007, more symmetrical?
No. It takes number 9 and wraps our district all the way around District 9. So, and I would say that we're more related to Tallahassee now because we're getting all these people that live and work in Tallahassee, and they're more concerned about what's going on in Tallahassee than they are concerned about what's going on in Live Oak. And so, to me, we would have more representation of the things that are good for us in this area than we would if we were...
I would take the exact opposite position, that I think our representative should represent similarly situated counties, which are small counties.
Rural counties say we're rural counties.
I'll make a motion to approve your letter, Ralph.
I'll second that and make one additional comment. It's important to note that the mayor of Tallahassee and the chairman of the Leon County Board of County Commissioners is also against 005, same one that I'm against. And so they realize it's gonna fragment their representation as well.
Here in Alfred, Leon.
Bill Proctor, yeah.
Proctor's against it.
Well, I think they just changed over, so let me correct that. I don't know if Proctor has taken a position, but
As of today, I thought so.
okay. So I don't know if he's taken a position on this. So the former chair definitely took a position and testified against that particular.
Is that Maddox?
Yes.
Nick? I'm in support of it, I agree.
Jess, we don't have this we don't have the colored map, do we? No.
Can you click on those links, Jess?
Click that link.
There you go.
Commissioner Oaks?
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, she can't. Okay.
Oh, shucks, now we missed that.
You access the email I sent and click the link there? Or that?
There we go.
Okay, so that's the one that I think we don't want. You can see it goes well into Leon County on the east and the west side. And that one stays fairly consistent to what we have now.
Okay, so 7 is what you want.
Yes.
This is 7.
Yep.
All right, I have a motion.
This is also what our state representative wants and is seeking help to try to keep this district so we can keep the rural representation. If we approve this tonight, I'd like to ask the board to allow me to go speak on behalf of the board and certainly invite all of you to come speak as well to encourage the representatives to choose one over the other.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
All right, passes 4-1.
And is this gonna affect national? It has nothing to do with national.
Nothing national. This is just
State.
County Attorney?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This agenda item requests board approval of the opioid settlement participation forms for the nationwide opioid settlements against the 3 largest opioid distributors.
So moved.
A couple things I want to just put in here before we get there. The settlements, the substance of which are in there, the proposed participation forms, and specifically the release language that you would be releasing any claims against any of these manufacturers. And distributors, you're not currently in litigation with them, but that's important to point out. The actual settlement agreements are here if anyone wants to
I read it.
read them. I know that you read them this afternoon, Randy, while you were sitting there. And then these would bring settlement funds into the county over a proposed 18-year period. This would allow the county to use these funds in addition to the regional entity, the Big Bend Continuum of Care, for various opioid abatement strategies.
I have a motion, and I think you had a second. All in favor? Aye. Okay, passes 5-0. County Administrator.
Yes, Madam Chair, just to let folks know that Magnolia, live in Griner's Edition, or what we call in Magnolia Gardens Phase 3, the board tonight approved the sewer contract for the septic and sewer program. Construction should start somewhere in the April timeframe.
What roads is that? And you said Magnolia?
It's Griner's Edition. Griner's Edition. It's Griner's and everything from Ray Winkle over to MLK.
Is that Logan's?
Logan's Place, Evans, Liberty.
Dig up the paved roads and Logan is?
Yeah, all of it.
Are those county maintained roads right now?
Yes,
So you take them over. And Logan's?
Logan, Nelson,
Ironwood's all over. They were
Yeah.
private at one time, anyway.
and it'll be that entire area. So, like I say, by the time we get all of the submittals in and the delays in shipping and manufacturing of pipe, et cetera, it'll be well into April probably before we actually start digging out there, I would imagine. So just to let those folks know, because we've had quite a bit of interest in that. Secondly, I talked to some of you about this. We have projects over the next 4 years. I'll be bringing back that total up about $118 million that we'll be having to pay for. Those are all majority of those are grant-funded projects, 99% of them. But we'll have a cash flow issue with managing that cash flow within our reserves. So therefore, we're going to working with the clerk's office to work with a municipal finance advisor to come up with some sort of mechanism or within our existing reserves, if all possible, to be able to work out a cash flow on a monthly basis based on the reimbursements of each one of the agencies. So we're
Cost is so severe that our reserve can't soak it up on a cash flow?
Well, the problem is how things are hitting based upon when we have to spend the grants and on a monthly draw. And then if it's a month to month, it's not that big, but some of these grants are once a quarter. And that means we have to, some places, we have to carry $3 and $4 million per month for a quarter, and that's a pretty good little wage.
You actually have to float it for 5 months in some cases because you have your quarter, the following month you prepare your reimbursement, submit it to the agency, and then the following month they actually reimburse you. So those first quarter invoices, it can be up to 5 months or longer if you have an issue with your reimbursement request.
We're going to have to pay interest on that 5 months, right? Because we're borrowing the money, obviously.
We're gonna probably a bridge, some sort of bridge loan or some sort of line of credit or something to be able to shuffle money in and out.
That will be avoided whenever if we can cash flow it, we will.
When we can cash flow, we will, but we just need some expertise and folks that do this on a regular basis to come in and evaluate that and give us options as to what to do. Secondly, just to let y'all know, Trevor Birch, he is no longer going to be with Dewberry, and wish him well. He's his last day is the 17th.
Yes, sir.
He's done a great job for our county, and he's going to be a loss to us and to Justin, but Justin will pick up and move on. So you got to, and but we appreciate everything you've done for us.
Yes.
Trevor. Thank you, and he's been a great asset and. Really done a good job for us, but as I said, a lot of that $118 million worth of projects are septic to sewer projects, etc. It's heavy engineering, and we've got to bring a lot of stuff into the landing. So I'll get some permits out and get going.
On that note, when we talked about mysterious waters, to me is pretty important. Where is that in the setup, or when we're going to apply for that, or when?
That is on the list.
After Magnolia Gardens.
We've already got a cadre we've already got it all planned out. And the state has currently funded Magnolia and Wakulla Gardens Phase 3 and Wakulla Gardens Phase 4. After that, they're continuing to fund all of the other phases all the way up to Phase 7 in Wakulla Gardens to get that done. And those, you'll be seeing those agreements come forward when, Michelle?
We're working on the work plan right now, and as soon as those get submitted to DEP, then they'll send back the actual plan.
Yes, sometime first of the year, next year, we'll be getting those agreements in, all of them, as well as PFA 1 and 2, PFA 1 phases 5 and 6 projects, which is some downtown Crawfordville sewer as well as some sewer up.
So we don't have to finish Wakulla Gardens before we can move to a different, we're going to run some concurrent.
That's how we're going to run that concurrent, then after the plan is as we get that going, they're going to give us another tranche. It's supposed to be over $80 million worth of projects. So,
I personally, mysterious water, I think is very important.
and part of it is mysterious, but where that fits, and that's DEP's call, they pick the projects, we don't. So, but those will be forthcoming.
It's Flatwoods.
Well, it's right on the river, and they're all elevated septic systems with high groundwater, which to me, that's what I'm concerned about. Because I know they're all mound systems.
They're all mound systems, but it all has to move laterally to the river, so as long as there's a good distance from the river, a lot of it's going to get taken up by the trees on the way. The problem systems are the ones that are on the high percolating soils that take it right to the aquifer, and that's the ones that get into our water system.
And I'm sure that's why we trust DEP to make the right decision.
Are they even eligible for the replacement? No. I didn't think so.
The Flatwoods thing, it's a whole different, they have to do, if they want to do one, they can do one with the area heating system.
Is that where the Flatwood salamander lives?
No, Flatwood salamander lives in ephemeral ponds, and that's not in that area.
But anyway, other than that, we've got a busy year next year, and wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and we'll have to hit it hard next year, so we've got a lot of stuff to do.
So what is the other option?
What is what?
We had a big,
As to what?
we had a big year this year and last year, and the year before that, and the year before that.
Bigger year next year.
Trevor, I apologize for our conduct today. Had we known you were going to leave us Friday, we might have been a little less chatty. Yes, thank you. Any citizens to be heard, Jess? No? All righty. Discussion issues by commissioners. Commissioner McGregor.
Being this is the end of the year, I'd like to ask you as the chair to get with David and review his compensation package. I don't know if we do it on a yearly basis, but we do it routinely. If that's all right with the board, have Quincy get with David and look, see if any changes need to be made, and bring it back before the board for our approval.
Is this one of those things that we have to answer all five on, Heather?
No, it's not, you're not really taking.
Okay, perfect. I'll be happy to do that.
And also, I'd like to ask David to keep, it's 800 acres that St. Joe currently owns, it's being contemplated being developed. I'd like to really see that be preserved. So if you can contact Water Management District or Forever Florida or whatever and see if they may be interested, especially with Guy Rebel making that donation right across the road, the Water Management District might want to possibly purchase it if it's not developed, or, before it's developed, if it is going to be developed. And Merry Christmas to everybody. And since I won't see you next Christmas or any other Christmas again here, Merry Christmas for the rest of your life.
Should we get out the Kleenex now or later on? Commissioner Kemp?
Nothing tonight.
Nothing tonight. I wanted to remind everybody, and Jess is going to help me out with regard to getting it out to, it's Tire Amnesty Day, and I believe that it's January 15th, 14th. I don't even know where my phone is anymore. But it is going to be on the website. It's 4 tires with proof of residency at the community center from 9 to 1.
When is it, January?
Yeah. I'm going to go with the 14th. Let me see.
14th is a Friday.
No, then it must be Saturday, the 15th.
Is it just tires on that day?
Yes.
January 15th.
4? You can make 4?
Make 4 with your license.
I'm sure I can wrangle up 4 used tires in mine.
I got some tractor tires.
They take tractor tires. I'm going to ask about that.
So, I just wanted to comment, we have our libraries, in basically, the libraries in Franklin and Jefferson, Wakulla County had 60,000 visitors last year. They loaned out 76,000 physical items and 17,000 e-books. And so there's a big participation in our library system, and they do a great job.
And thank you for
Yes,
serving
they
on
do.
that board.
My pleasure.
Okay. Thanks, Commissioner Thomas.
None tonight.
None tonight? All right. Merry Christmas, Randy.
Merry Christmas, Quincy. Hopefully Santa Claus will bring you some quick.
If I can write them down.
The ones you got?
Yeah.
The ones you volunteered on?
Yeah.